Alright, welcome back to the Crabby. Today we're going to look at the expansion to one of my favorite games, Ginkgopolis, called The Experts. So what you see on the table is what you're going to get in the expansion box. Okay, so what's great is you also can toss the expansion box in the recycling bin because everything is going to fit nicely into the base game box. Alright, so for this expansion, everything is separated into 6 distinct modules. So that's great because you can play with the stuff you like and discard the stuff you don't like. Except for one thing. I do have to note one little thing. You do get some of these little player aid cards that you're going to give to each player at the start of the game. It's just a summary of what each card and number and what their special ability is. It's a great reference sheet. Just hand these out whether you're playing with or without the expansion. So let's just toss that aside. Alright, so let's cover each of these modules. I'm going to show you how to play it, the rules, the setup, and what I actually think of each and every single one. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first module, and probably the one with the most bits in the box, are the new buildings. So you're going to get cards and the tiles for buildings 21 through 23 of the 3 different colors. So 9 different cards and tiles. Alright, so for setup for this one, if you are playing with this module, you do need to remove 3 tiles from the base game stack of tiles and throw those back into the box, sort of to compensate the extra tiles being introduced to the base game. Alright, now for the cards, pretty simple, just add them to the stack of cards from the base game. That'll take care of those cards. Now for the tiles, for the setup works very different. You're not gonna shuffle these into the base game tiles at all. Alright, do not do that. Alright, you're gonna shuffle these and create a different face down stack near the game board, but very distinct. Don't get them mixed up with the base game tiles. Alright, these are treated as level 2 building tiles, which means the rules of play, when playing, to draw one of these, you need to give up 2 drawing power to take one of these. So for random example, let's say on your turn, you have to draw 4 tiles. Well, instead of drawing 4 from the base game, you can draw one of these and 2 of the base game ones, or you can draw straight up 2 of these. All right, so each one is going to cost you 2 drawing power to take. All right, and then while you're playing and it's behind your shield, well, you can just play this with any tile or card. Play it like a regular card and tile, and when you play it out, you're going to put a construction marker and just play the game as you normally would. All right, so not many rules changes for this one besides these tiles costing 2 drawing power to get. All right, and that's it. All right, just play it. Do I like this module? Yeah, I play with it pretty much every single time. It just adds more higher cost cards into the game, so you can actually get to the 17 to 20 cards from the base game and get the points for those ones. So it's a pretty good module. I like to play with it every time. All right, so go to the next one. All right, so the second module are the prestige buildings, which are the 24 and 25 value tiles of the 3 different colors. All right, so for setup, just like the new buildings, first you're going to remove 3 tiles from the base game selection, throw those back into the game box, and then you're going to align these face up, not face down, next to the game board in the exact configuration you see here. So 24 on top of 25. All right, so the rules of play while you're playing, to get one of these tiles, you actually need to give up 3 drawing power to take any of the top tiles of the stack. All right, so for example, if on your turn you had a drawing power of 4, well, instead of grabbing 4 tiles from the base game selection, you can take one of these and then one of the base game selection tiles. All right, and then when they're in your hand, just like the new buildings, they're treated exactly like regular tiles. You get to play them and play them on the board wherever you see fit. All right, now what's unique about these ones is that they don't have a card associated to them, so you don't have to put a construction marker on these when you put them out on the board. All right, because when these go out, you keep the ownership of this till the end of the game. All right, and that's why I like this little module. For some of the players who might find the base game a little too chaotic because you can lose any region on the board at any point. You don't really have a foothold anywhere. Well, at least with these ones, you can create little monopolies or little areas where you know you're going to score. And I just really like this module. It also gives you a opportunity with these super high numbers to capture some of the new buildings and some of the higher valued base game cards that you can get a lot of points if you know you need the ones that score for red buildings or yellow buildings or blue buildings. Well, you can go grab the one associated with that one and then play on top of that exact tile that you want to play on. All right, so I really like this expansion. I play with it every single time. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, the third module are the green spaces, which is just the introduction of these 9 tiles into the game. All right, and I do apologize, this section is going to be the longest because it introduces actually the most rules. All right, so the setup to this one, very similar to the rest. Remove 3 tiles from the base game stack, throw them back in the box, and then leave this face up anywhere around the table. You don't need to shuffle them, they're all exactly the same. All right, they're going to be available to capture. All right, now, rules of play while you're playing. How do you get one of these? Well, instead of drawing a tile from the base game stack of tiles, well, you can draw one of these instead, but at most 1 per turn. All right, so even if you have a drawing power of 5, you can only take 1 of these, and then you'll have to take 4 of something else. All right, and then it's just going to go behind your screen just like every other tile in the game. All right, so when you play this, all right, there's a slight change on playing a park because you cannot play a park on top of a building. That doesn't make any sense. All right, buildings are built on top of buildings. Parks are going to go always adjacent. So you're going to be using them with the urbanization cards and not other building cards. All right, so just a quick example here. On my turn, I can play a park with urbanization card F, and on my turn, I'm just going to place it there and then move the F token just like usual. All right, you're also going to obviously put your marker there that you own it. All right, parks cannot be built on top. There's no card for parks, so you don't have to put a construction token on it, and you're going to own that till the rest of the game. All right. When you play a park, you're still going to treat it like any other city tile. You're going to gain the resources of the tiles that it's touching. You're going to gain all your abilities of the arrows of urbanization, and so on and so on. All right, one important piece of terminology that I can't forget to mention is once a green space is on the field, it's considered a park. All right, but multiple green spaces connected orthogonally are still part of the same park. All right, so these two are technically one park, even though it's multiple tiles. All right, if somebody else played a tile over here like this, for whatever color, even if it's somebody else's color, this is still the same park. All right, now, what do parks do? Well, there's 2 game situations for parks. One is in game, so while you're playing, and the other one is end game. All right, so while you're playing, whenever somebody connects to a park, you're going to score 2 points for each tile of that park. All right, so if anyone connected here, 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 or here, all right, you're going to make 6 points in any of those spaces. All right, you calculate all the green spaces in that park. All right, so that's in-game play. You're going to take those chits and put it behind your shield. All right, end game is completely different. All right, so let me give you an end game situation here. Let's put it here. All right, so end game, parks add the resource tokens to districts that they're connected to. All right, so let's say this is a district and this is a district, and those are the only 2 districts next to this park. Well, if green or purple or pink, sorry, are in the running to win these districts, then those tokens are added as well. All right, so it's better to show you with a random example. Let's just say it was something like this. All right, so who would win this district? It's going to be green. All right, because in this district, green has 3 and pink only has 2. All right, so green would actually win. All right, so they're actually going to score points for everything in the park as well. So green's going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and pink's only going to score 2 points. All right, for this one here, this district here, well, pink's going to win no matter what. All right, but they're not going to score 5 points because these 2 green are not participating in this district because green is not in that district. All right, so they're only going to score 3 points plus another 3 points because they're obviously in second place as well. All right, but you get the idea. Let's say if both of these were the black player, well, then black player is only going to get 2 points and not 5 points or 3 points because black is not in this park and these are not going to be added to that district. All right, so it's a bit of math to jump around, but they're pretty helpful to add tokens to your districts that are near the park. So personally, I love this little module expansion. It's really cool. Varies up the game just a little bit, little end game situations. It really helps for end game scoring and getting those regions out there. Although if you have a massive park and you only have 1 token, you're just giving a lot of points to the other players. So you got to think about that as well. All right, but a pretty cool module to add into your game. All right, module 4 are the events. Well, I hope you didn't think that everything in this expansion was going to be really good, because this is garbage. Okay, I'm going to say straight up here at the beginning, module 4, the events. All right, so let's just talk about setup. If you're not playing with the experts, because the experts are going to tell you which events you start with. If you're not playing with that, we'll get to this later. You're going to hand one of each type to each player. They're going to select the two they want to play with. It goes behind your screen, and the other two you just toss back into the box. All right, and these suck. All right, you can play them on your turn with whatever move you're doing. So let's say I'm doing this move, I can play let's say this event as well, and then the event's going to trigger on my turn. And these events have just horrible effects. All right, so let's just go over them quick. The easiest ones to know is that you're going to pick a tile and everything orthogonally adjacent to it, and you're going to score victory points. This one's the exact same thing. You're going to score tiles. So you can make just 9 points this one. You can make 9 points randomly just by playing an event with this one. This one you can gain 9 tiles, which is ridiculous, by playing this one tile. This one's stupid. Everyone who's got a resource in that cross has to give up a resource, which are super valuable, or a point, and then those points are going to go to the person that played this tile. So that's going to be another 6 or so points that he's going to gain, or somebody's going to lose a ton of resources. And this one is a take that tile, of course. So this one is you play it with just a card, not a tile, and essentially you're just going to replace all your tokens with the person's whose tokens are on there. Ooh, so you're just going to swap position of wherever that token is. All right, so if there was 3 tokens on it, you give those 3 back to the owner. They don't even make points for it. You're going to put your tokens on it, and I think you even make points. Anyway, either way, garbage. Don't ever play with this expansion. It's terrible. All right, module 5 is just a slight tweaking to the base game rules and adds no components into the game. All right, so this happens during the drafting step of the game. And this module, by the way, is called Keep a Card. All right, it is what you think it is. All right, so on your turn, normally when you draft, you get one card, and this is the card you're going to play, and the rest are going to be passed to the person on your left every single time. All right, but in the Keep a Card variant, all right, you're going to take one of those 3 cards and store it behind your shield, and you're only going to be passing 2 to the person on your left. All right, so on your next turn, you're going to get back 2 from the person on your right. You're going to add the card from behind your shield to that, and then draw from the top of the deck. All right, so every single round, you're going to be playing, keeping, passing 2. All right, instead of passing 3. All right, that's it. It's just very, very simple. Just a slight little tweak. It adds a bit more control to your game. So if you're playing with a lot of Euro players that find the game too chaotic or your lack of control, well, you can play with this little variant so that you can keep a card turn over turn. Sometimes I play with it, sometimes I don't. You know, the game could feel a bit weird because some person could just hold on to the same card throughout the game because he really wants to build there in a strategic time, or he just doesn't ever want anyone to build on his spot, so he just keeps that card turn over turn over turn. It loses a bit of something in the game, in my opinion, but you know, for a lot of Euro players, play with it, they'll like the game a bit more. There you go, that's it. All right, and the 6th and final module is what the expansion is named after. They are the experts, all right, which are just more character cards with different unique abilities. All right, so during setup, you're going to hand 2 of these experts to every single player. So every player is going to have 4 characters and 2 expert cards in their hand. And after the initial draft at the start of the game, you're going to have 3 characters and 1 expert. You can only ever have 1 expert. You're going to draft 1 expert, all right, and still have 3 of the regular cards. All right, so as soon as you draft your first expert, you don't draft again another expert. You just pass those cards over to your left. All right, if you're in a situation where you drafted 3 regular characters, then your next character has to be an expert, and if there's no expert in your hand, you're just going to draw randomly off this deck. All right, so you are going to finish with an expert no matter what. All right, now a little note as well is, like I mentioned before, if you are playing with the events expansion, I don't know why you would, but over here in the top left, it's going to tell you which 2 events you're going to be starting with. All right, and these guys, they're all unique. They all do various things. They're all end-game scoring stuff or in-game effect stuff. So if you see an equal sign, it's just different ways to score during the game. And if you see arrows or whatnot, it's just different effects. All right, there's not much to say. You can play with them if you like. I find some of them a little unbalanced. Like this one is really good. You never have to pay points by playing lower numbers. There's one, I don't remember which ones they are, but some of these seem a little more imbalanced than others. The endgame scoring ones are extremely situational. If you don't go through a blue strategy, even though you started with these cards, because you're not getting blue tiles, well, it's not going to help you out at all, although you're still going to score for your opponents. But either way, you know, I don't usually play with this very often, but you can just throw this in to add a bit more variety to your game. All right, so there you go. Those are the 6 different expansions. The only one I would definitely say don't play with are the events. Everything else, pick and choose, do whatever you like. And that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Later.